Hello everyone. I hope y'all doing good. So yeah, we get into Jada. Now, you see that her saying that her grandmother, when she was 9 years old, taught her how to self pleasure herself. Now that's strange. Now, I heard something a while back about why they don't do pap smears on virgins because the stress and how it can make them feel like basically. Man, I'm gonna just look that up, but from what I remember, I think it said something about because it can traumatize the young girl that have not had sex. It could a pap smear can traumatize her. Now you think about that and how her grandmother taught her how to self satisfy herself. Now, if you see, I don't know what kind of way did her grandmother fondle her? Did her grandmother what did her grandma do? So I really don't want to get into that, but I mean, hearing that, the thing to pop in my head is that she probably was touching her sexually, and that right there, it's kind of sick. So if you think about it, if a man do it, that's the same, isn't it? The same if a woman do it, even though she used the label as in teaching how to self pleasure herself. Now at this time, so also I heard that they said that hearing it from Jada and mother and all that, that her mother, well, her grandmother had a drug addiction. Her mother had a drug addiction, and Jada also had a drug addiction. So people got to think about the drug addictions and stuff like that. I had a cousin that had a drug addiction and stuff like that, and the things she went through, and by the time she stopped doing it and got saved and got to know her kids and stuff like that, then she had caught a cold, and because her body was deteriorated and so weak from the drugs that she used that her body couldn't fight off a simple cold. She didn't catch any diseases during the time she was um, doing drugs, but her body was just too tired. And I think she had like asthma too, so that's like 10 times worse. And it's like when you do drugs and stuff like that, it put tolls on your life, and on your body, and on your mental stuff. To people that did drugs can have a different mindset than other people because of the drugs that they put in their body can it can make some violent, it can make some suicidal, it can be already suicidal, and it can be like one from 10 to 100 in a second from doing drugs for a long period of time. It's no telling what each person body is told that it can take on. I mean, it's just crazy. You gotta, and and sometimes these people that do the drugs, abuse the drugs, they don't really pay attention or notice that their child are hurting or whatever. Because she probably didn't receive that herself, and now I see that she didn't see that. She wasn't taught how what a mother was supposed to be like, or people probably wasn't taught how a father supposed to be a father. So if you're not taught how a father supposed to be a father and how a mother supposed to be a father, a mother, dang it, sorry, tied. If you're not taught, or I don't want to even say taught, if you're not loved in a certain way, like the love that most people get from their mother and their father and their grandparents, that it can make them different than everyone else. because they was lacking that love that they deserved, which Jada and her mother probably deserved that love too, and will deserve that love too. But they obviously didn't get it, and something was lacking and stuff like that. And women that be, I'm talking forever. Uh, Women that have been abused be going through their own type of trauma because they go through their own type of trauma, and so his mother probably couldn't help. But I see that him and his father seems like they probably patched it up before he died. Will got us his book out, so y'all want to know more into his life, I guess y'all get the book or something. I don't know. That's up to y'all. Um, it's just sad and crazy. I mean, I seen her on a different world, a low down dirty shame, and the character that she played on a different world was totally different than reality. And well, I guess that's why it's called acting, because if you can act, you can pretend to be another person. That is a skill to do. That is a very good skill. But I'm just this. I mean, it's just crazy. I didn't think. I just actually started watching celebrities and listening to things and stuff like that was going on in celebrity lives, and I'm like fucking shocked that shit. Half of them was going on in their lives, and it's just crazy. Started seeing the stuff, crazy stuff that Kanye West was doing. I used to like his music too, but then he made a video called Famous, and that shit was crazy. That blew my motherfucking head. I'm like, what the fuck? Sorry for the cussing. I'm trying to work on that, but sometimes it's hard. But I mean, it's just crazy. A lot of stuff that's going down, and it will just shock the hell out you.
Identity congealed in my mind, an unshakable feeling that no matter what I have done, no matter how successful I've become, no matter how much money I've made, how many number one hits I've had, how many box office records I've broken, there's that subtle and silent feeling always pulsating in the back of my mind that I'm a coward, that I've failed, that I'm sorry.
See what I'm saying? Self sabotage. When you sit there and feel that you don't deserve the love you get, you don't deserve it. You don't feel like you deserve it any better. And when people feel like that, they can waste half their life on a person that really doesn't love them. I'm just going by on what he's talking about, Will Smith talking about in his book. He's actually reading his own book and talking about it. Other thing about it is I also noticed, I mean, he done made Shake My Life. He done started talking about positive things and stuff like that. Yeah, that's fucking great that someone can talk about the positive thing, but also you talking about the positive things and you changing life and stuff like that. But even though you talking about it and you're not doing it, you because if you was doing it, because it was a clip a long time ago where he was talking about positive and stuff like that, and basically turning the other cheek and stuff like that, and walking tall, you know. But to the point, like what Jada's doing to him, what his father just dying and stuff like that, and it takes years. Sometimes people don't never get over the fact that their father or mother or whatever died or whatever. They don't never. Some people don't never get over it. It's still that hurt, and sometimes people will lash out on that hurt because they don't know where else to take it. And it's a good thing what they're doing, talking about it and stuff like that. But you gotta do the follow through, and the follow through is this: you have to get counseling or something, or talking to a person that is kind of like a professional to help you push through, to help you heal within your mind, your body, your soul, your heart. If you still in love with somebody that's been dead, it takes that to move on and you can't move on if you're not you talking about it. Yes, everyone can talk a good game, but you gotta actually do it. I seen crazy shit. I know people that been through crap, and me, I'm always the type of person like hell no, you ain't gonna hit that woman. I have jumped into arguments with older men, and I was just what 13, I think. And with that being said, that's this type of person I have always been. I always jump in the fire for everybody else, but I didn't never try to look into myself and better myself. And then when I did it, I see things in a whole nother light. And I guess a little think about it. Got when I don't know. I think it was a seizure. I think I had like a seizure or a heart attack or one or the other, and I stopped breathing. My CJ had to do chest compressions and stuff like that by himself. And when I seen any people still talk about the chemicals in the brain, where you see them hallucinations like hallucinate or dreams or whatever, no, it's not no dreams and not no hallucinations or anything. What you see when you die, for even if it's for a second, your heart stopped for 1 second, you're dead until you can come back. Until someone either do CPR or something else that brings you back. So the things I seen was quite beautiful. But getting off subject again. My point is, you want better. You gotta. If you want better, you're gonna have to do the work. You're gonna have to do the walking. You can't go halfway. I mean, even if you don't even have to. Some people don't really have to go through because they did have to work. They did have to work. They know that it's bad. They know. They know this. So that's half the work of realizing that's not what you want. The other half is preparing, repairing, and fixing what's broken inside you to make you feel like you don't deserve anything good. Broken people feel like that no matter what they do, and people when they be like broken like that, they tend to harm themselves. So I am not talking about Jada and Will and the Smith family to hurt them or anything. I am talking about it to that's half the battle. Y'all got a lot more further to go. It's a good thing you're talking about positive things and talking about changing and stuff like that, but it's more to go. And I hope this help y'all in some kind of way or help anyone else is going through some stuff.
In my depression, using ecstasy, drinking a whole lot, and smoking a bunch of weed and trying to just find some peace in my Right. mind. I was doing ecstasy, weed, and a bottle of Cavassier. Okay. I knew I was on a course to addiction.
Yeah. See, but they don't say what date or whatever or when that was. They just talking about his life. But I'm thinking it's probably before she had her kids. So when you like that, I'm a perfect example. Okay, I was nice enough to let this chick stay with me, and she brought a boyfriend into it. Now I said yeah to her and her son, but she decided to bring her son. She decided to bring her boyfriend into my house or whatever. I was too nice, and I was just letting her. I said, I guess, So she moved him in or whatever. And matter of fact, the chick never gave me a dime. And I was ended up babysitting her kids, and her son, because she actually had more than one child. She had like I think 4 or 5 other kids, but they wasn't in her custody because she lost them. Anyway, so she was yeah, so she never gave me a dime, and I was just finding the reason that she was like always yelling at the dude in the room and stuff like. I'm like, this woman is crazy, and I'm like, if someone spoke to him like, "Good morning," she would flip out, and I got to the point. I told her, look, you gonna have one with another. You gonna get out of my house. You gonna have to go. You gonna have to go. You can't be. You doing too much for me. And at that time, my son had like a therapist or whatever, and the therapist just come by, and she's like, if she does it again, I'm call the people on her. I said, do what you gonna do, cause she was beating her son, and I didn't find out later until me and her ended up getting in a fight, cause she wanted to come to my house and smoke, and I told her to put it out, and she put it out on my carpet. That peed me off. And even at that, I still wasn't trying to fight her. She kept initiating it. But long story short, gonna find out that she was on speed and she smoked a lot and drank a lot, and she wouldn't. I never noticed that she was like drunk all the time. I don't know what the hell she was drinking, but I never really smelled it on her. And she worked at the hog plant, so I ain't really smelling her. I just smelled the hog plant, dead meat and stuff. So I'm like, she just didn't care. And then when it came to the report, what she said went down a whole lot different. And I was just to the point, I was like, man, I just want to get out of here. I want to go home. So it was just crazy. She was arguing with the cops and all types of stuff. But the chick was fucking out her fucking mind. And then I seen her a couple years later, and she was like, hey, how you doing? How you doing? I'm like, all right. And then she was like, hey, don't you remember her? She used to babysit you. I'm like, why this chick had like we was the bestest friends back in the day or something. I'm like, what the hell? Something wrong with her. It was shocking like how she was acting. She was acting hyper then. I'm like, dang, she must be on something again. But anyways, that's my little bit of my opinion in dealing with someone that like use speed and stuff like that. I didn't know it called speed until somebody told me that.
21, a lot of the recommendations have changed over the years. Mm-hmm. So I'm giving the American College of OBGYN recommendations. There's different organizations that have different recommendations, but we used to say a certain number of years after you became sexually active, right. But now pretty much that's the standard, age 21. If you started having sex really young, we used to say 3 years afterwards, but it doesn't matter how early you start having sex. The risk of cervical cancer is so low, but before the age of 21, that's when people should get their first pap smear. If you do it before then, you're just increasing the number of extra testing that they need to do, and it's traumatizing for those young girls. Of course. So that's why we say 21.
I'm just going to put chastity belts on my children, and we're going to call it a day. Now, results of an abnormal pap come back. Most likely you'll be advised to get a colposcopy. Did I say that correctly?
Colposcopy, yeah.
So what is that?
Yeah, so
There you go. Traumatizing. That's what they say.